News is breaking all the rules, and now we on the move. We got something to prove. We came from the bottom, now we at the tippy top. Cause we all we got. Cold curl world, but we keeping it hot. Feature on the line, ain't no time to stop. Still we having fun. Ain't no holding our tongue. Go get us on the team. Yeah, we getting it done. And shout out to Travell, girl, you number one. It started with a dream that turned into a vision. The educated new generation is our mission. But we steady politicking. If you ain't about to change, mind your business. And wait again, man. Let's go. Wait again, let's go. Wavy hands with it. Now wait again, let's go. Wavy hands with it. Top six like we all on the gram with it. Now wait again, minute. Wavy hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wavy hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wavy hands with it. We top six like we all up on the gram with it.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Super K from Super Sound Lounge, rocking with your favorite podcast, Wait Again a Minute, listed on all platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Tidal, Spotify. Y'all know the vibe. Tune in.
Welcome to another episode of Wait Again a Minute podcast. Today is Tuesday, March the 1st, 2022. It's March.
The first of the month again.
It just seemed like it was New Year's though. Now we in the third month already.
Almost Christmas. Again.
She's more again. So your word tonight gonna be again, right?
Again.
Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Anyway, our topic tonight is parent coaching. So I think we're gonna have a good time with this topic because as I've already spoke with Ms. Wise to let her know that I'm kind of on the disciplinary side of the fence. So we're gonna have fun with this one. But also, how has your day been, Ms. Wise?
My day has been very peaceful because the children have been at school today. Peaceful.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good. Okay, Ms. Go Get It. How was your day? How is your day, rather?
My day has been one of those type of days. Yeah. Yes, one of those type of days. Yeah.
Unapologetic, unfiltered is what you're gonna get.
That's it. But how has your day been? See, I didn't forget this time.
Yay me. Dear Lord, thank you. Lord, I thank you right now. My day was actually good. I had a good day. I learned a lot today. Had a good day. So other than that,
Oh, okay.
it was a good Tuesday. But nevertheless, we're gonna move forward. Miss Wise, I want to formally thank you for accepting our invitation to come on Wait Again a Minute. Actually, you were recommended to come on Wait Again a Minute to talk about this topic. And I thought it was very befitting.
Oh, that was good. Did they say why she was recommended to talk about this topic?
Yeah, they were. I can't remember. Miss Go Get It. Don't put me on the spot because I can't remember what they actually said.
Okay.
But they did say good things, and then that's when I contacted her.
Okay.
So we kind of scheduled it for now.
Well, I appreciate you guys for choosing me and the person who chose me to come up here.
Right.
I'm excited.
You excited?
Yes.
Are you nervous?
Just a tad. Just a little bit.
Girl, you in good hands. It's gonna be all good. It's gonna be all good. So anyway, our topic tonight is parent coaching. So before we get started, people need to let the people know who you are. You know who you are.
Well, I am Chanda Madison Wise. I am a mother of 4 children, ages 13, 12, 9, and 6. I am a former teacher, early educator.
Okay.
I am a parent coach. I am a prison wife. I am at the current moment, you can say I'm a single mother because I am singly raising my children.
Okay.
I have an associate's degree in early childhood development. I have several certifications with working with children. I have certifications with dealing with children discipline. I have a parent coaching certification. I have a youth family certification and many other certifications.
Wow. You know what? Let me say this.
Run them all down.
Right. Now, I'm like, you ask that question to every guest we have. Tell us a little bit about yourself. But baby, when I said she must have told you that in advance because you had that memorized. Like you ran that down to a T.
Those are the things that I have.
But let me ask you this, because I know somebody else want to know this too. What is a prison wife like? You said no. What was the title again?
What, a prison wife?
Did you say, okay, you did say prison wife, right? I thought you said something else. And I'm like, okay, did you say it like that?
My husband is incarcerated, so I'm a prison wife.
But you know, it's a show and it's some clubs and everything with it.
Yeah.
It is. And I mean, I also can help parents who has a loved one who's incarcerated and they have children who are dealing with that as well.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's why I
just
mentioned
want,
that.
I just want to let you know. I mean, you know, I caught it that you like, and I'm like, I'm like,
let's go get it. But let me straighten you right
and I'm
quick though,
like-
for real, because at the end of the day, everybody who sits in this seat, I make sure that I convey to them to be able to introduce themselves. So don't try to see and kick it like I just told her.
yeah,
All of a sudden I ain't tell nobody else.
I'm just
So
saying,
you trying to
like,
say I'm not doing my job.
you know what? I really wasn't, but I'm just saying, like, she really like had it down pat. But I don't
she's
know. You
confident.
might have
She's sure
just
about who she
told her
is.
because I just
Yeah,
like
I
it.
do know who I am.
I know that's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but let's get into our topic, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I know you said that you are exactly what is it that you do?
So, what I do as a parent coach, I help parents grow into their awareness as a parent. And I help motivate them with their goals and put their goals into action as a parent. And I help them gain more confidence in being a parent, and we come up with an action plan. I also help motivate them to become a better parent. So what we basically do, we sit down and at first we do what we call a discovery call. And we we see if we can be a good fit to work together.
Okay.
And if we are a good fit to work together, we move forward into, the second session. The second session, we basically worked on an action plan together to figure out, what is it the goals that the parent wants to create with them as a parent, and what is the pain that they're going through as a parent, what struggles are they dealing with, and what kind of plan can we put in place to fix the problems or issues that they are having.
Right.
And of course, it's a process, and it takes time to be able to do that.
So why did you decide to be a parent coach? How did you get into being a parent coach?
I got into being a parent coach because previously I was an early educator. And with being an early educator, of course, you work with children. And with working with children, I also deal with their parents.
Right.
And with dealing with the children, you have to communicate with the parents.
Correct.
And when communicating with the parents, a part of my job was doing home visits. So we would go into the homes once a month, and we would talk with the parents, and we had to get to understand why certain children were having certain behaviors. And during those home visits, I was giving out advice, I was giving out tips, I was listening to parents, and I found myself giving out a lot of information, learning information to have to give to the parents, as well as I was doing that with my family. And I found myself always talking about children all the time. And one day, me and my cousin, we were talking, just having a normal conversation, and she always talking about business. Business is her thing. And she looked at me and she was like, "You've helped me with my child. You help everybody else with their children." She was like, "Why don't you turn this into something that you love? It's something that you love. So why don't you also turn it into something that you can turn your passion into profit?"
Right.
And so I started thinking, like, you know what, you're right, but at the same time I was afraid. So I didn't move forth with it. But the more I gained confidence and started coaching parents for free, I started to be like, okay, I can do this, and this is something that I already do.
Yeah.
So once I realized that this is actually something that I already do, I started to put it into works, and that's when I started taking the certifications and the training courses to become certified.
Well, let me ask you this. let's go back to that first session. With that first session, what determines how if you guys work together or not?
With the discovery session.
Yeah, discovery
So
session.
with the first session, I always ask, well, I gain a rapport with the parents. Just like you guys asked me, how was my day?
Right.
So, I just asked them how was their day, what is a normal parenting day like for them? What are their goals? Um, and out of all honesty, are you able to pay for these sessions moving forward? Because everything does cost.
That's right.
So are you able to pay for these sessions? We talk about our parenting styles. Is it something that that I potentially talk about or do that resonate with that person? So we don't get too personal, but we definitely talk about certain things that I may have. Some people can just relate to me because I have 4 children, or some people can relate to me because I have a teenager, or that I'm a single mom, or that I've been through certain things that they have been through. So we just talk through that session, and that's how we gain a professional relationship, and then we move forward to the next session if it's something that the client would like to do.
Now, when you're doing this now, are they more forthcoming? Like, are they honest about, or have you found them to be honest or less honest when you first meet them? Like, they might say, well, you know what? I don't yell at them. I talk softly to them. Or when I get upset, I may say something out of anger. But on the normal, I'm at a 5 instead of a 9.
And the whole time they at a 10.
Correct.
So when talking to parents, you can tell. I can tell when a person isn't being honest, but I ask certain questions to get that out of them. Is coaching is definitely about asking powerful questions. So when I ask those questions, it comes out. But you do have some parents that say, you know what, I really don't holler at them like this. However, when we move forward in sessions, you can tell that, okay, yeah, they are a yeller. But I definitely have to. One of the questions in the discovery call is, you have to be honest with me in order for us to move forward.
That's right.
Because if you're not going to be honest with me during the sessions, then I can't help.
How are
There's
you
no
gonna
way
help?
that I can help if you're not going to be honest. We have to be honest, because I'm going to give you my honest feedback when we are doing our coaching sessions.
Right.
And I also ask parents, are there any questions that you do not want me to ask you?
Right. Some stay away from.
Right.
And that's actually good, though, that you do that and you're honest with them, because I do understand that in order to help the kids, you have to help the parent first. And I learned that a couple of shows back when we had a mental health young lady, well, twice, a mental health young lady on, that they can't fix the problem if they don't go to the root.
Right. And then a lot of the times the kids act a certain way because of what's going on at home, or the way that parent act. Because speaking with some teachers, school officials, they be like, oh, the kid was doing this and doing that. And then when I met, the mom or the daddy, I'm like, oh,
That's why.
That's why.
That's
absolutely,
because
absolutely
they
why.
picked up the same behavior. Now, and then plus, you can't really help them if they're not being honest with you, because no matter what you say, it doesn't even have to do anything with what you say, but you can't help them because you don't even know what you're helping them with, because they're telling you like everything's good at home. So what are you helping them with?
Right.
The whole time they having a hard time at home with the kid. Now, you mentioned pay. So if they can't pay, do you still like offer like a payment plan or some type of arrangements to get them to help?
Yes.
If you had a referral that indicated that this mother might really need some help.
Yes, I do. I offer, just like we have things like Klarna and Sezzle and all of those things. I offer those as well. I really wish that parent coaching offered accepted insurances and Medicaid and all those type
It'd be
of things.
easier.
However, I am pursuing a degree in where I can offer counseling similar to parent coaching, but those are 2 different avenues. So I do offer Sezzle, which offers 4 payments,
installments,
and those type of installments. So I do offer those.
Right. Because what you're doing now, you're trying to prevent a serious situation.
Yes.
Where
Right.
counseling
Yes.
kind of counsel you
Out
after
of the
the
situation.
situation.
Right.
So the insurance will pay for after the situation
Right.
or the devastation already occurred, but they're
Right.
not going to pay so to prevent it.
Right. Right. If you get coaching will already go ahead and prevent you from going to counseling or therapy.
Because it's giving you like the fundamental. It's
Right.
It
just,
gives you
it's
the
just like a
foundation.
basketball game.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. The coach is the
Gotcha.
person that, even though, because when being a parent, you are the expert because you know your child. You're in the house with your child every day. And like you said, it's like a coach in a basketball game. The basketball players are the experts. They're playing the game, but the coach is just giving them the plays
Right.
to play the game. And that's basically how a parent coach does, or any type of coach. We are giving you the plays that you
Tools,
need,
yeah.
to the tools and the experiences that we have to coach you through your
Right.
experiences that
Right.
you need.
Because if not, if you a hothead, you're gonna be out there playing based upon what you know and
Right.
your
Right.
personal thing, and it's not gonna work. But
Right.
being that you've been working with kids so long, and you say you were in the field of teaching as well,
Yes.
so it was like kind of went together for all of what you have
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
So have you ever became emotionally attached to a family?
Yes.
Like give us that experience, and how did you handle that?
I became oh my goodness, I became emotionally attached to several families. I have, because the age group of children that I worked with, they were 2 and 3 years old. They were 2.
They
And
were
they,
toddlers.
yeah, they were toddlers.
Yeah.
I worked with toddlers, and toddlers show you so much love. So I had a family that I have worked with, I would say 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
This parent always wanted their child. They have 7 kids. Each child that they had, they wanted their children in my class. If that child could not be in my class, they would pull their child out of school.
Wow.
And the attachment that I had with them is that they genuinely just, they embraced me.
Mm-hmm.
They always made sure that that their child came to school just ready to learn, and you can tell that they were parenting their children in the way that they should.
They should, yeah.
I have so many families that I definitely was emotionally attached to, and I just love seeing the kids now. I see so many of the children now. A lot of the children that I've had in my class are some of the ages of my children, and I still see them now, and they know me, and I just love that. I love seeing them.
And when you see them, even though they have grown up and you've kind of grown up with them, when you see them, how does it make you feel? Or even them, like, do they embrace you? Do
They
they say
do.
stuff?
Yeah, my daughter was in a spelling bee, and one of the kids that was in my class when he was 2 years old was in a spelling bee with my daughter, and I was kind of afraid for my daughter because this kid was reading at 3 years old.
Okay.
But I didn't want to tell my daughter that this kid was reading the word emergency at 3 years old. So I told her after the spelling bee, but it was just amazing to see both of them up in the spelling bee together. And then every time I see him, I always say, "Do you remember me? You were in my class when when you were 3 years old." And he just always goes, he's like, "What, really?" And then it's just a lot of the kids are in Suffolk. They're here. So
Right.
their parents still know me, and they always tell them, like, she was your teacher. And some of them remember. And then, of course, they were 2 and 3 years old, and some of them do not. But there are a lot of them that do remember, and it just feels good when they see me in the store and they be like, "Hey, Miss Chanda, how you doing? How you doing, Miss Chanda?" So
Right.
it feels good, and then especially to see their progress and they knowing that they've just learned so much, and some of them still, just remember me, embrace me, and hug
Right.
me.
Yeah.
So
Makes you feel
it
good.
does.
It makes you feel worth it.
It does. It does.
But now, okay, so we see the kids are growing up and they're going on about their way doing them. But now when you are parenting these kids, what are some of the things that you say on a regular? Like for me, like I told you, like I'm an authoritative parent. Like I'm gonna, even though I'm not a parent, right? But I will be the one that I will whoop you. Like it's just point blank period. I'm not doing the go stand in the corner, the timeout. I don't believe in that. So use me as an example, or Miss Go Getter as an example of how you would rectify the situation with us.
Okay. So I used to be an authoritative parent as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
It works.
you you know when something isn't working for you, you have to try something different.
Mhm.
Okay.
So being an authoritative parent was not working for me. My
Okay.
children were rebelling against that. So I had to, especially as being a single parent and being with only my children, I had to try something different. I had to try the techniques that I was trying in my classroom with my children.
Mm-hmm.
And the techniques that I was learning in my classroom with the toddlers was you need to go to them, you need to talk to them, you need to have a conversation with them. And I know to a lot of people that may seem like, well, they're a child. Why should we talk to them? But children are people too.
Right.
And it seems to a lot of people that they do not respect that when it comes to children. And not saying that you do not respect that, but a lot of people do not respect the fact that children are people. They do have feelings, they do have emotions,
Right.
and they do not think the way that we think as an adult.
On that
We
level, yeah.
expect children, when we say come here or sit down or do this, we expect them to do what we want them to do when we want them to do that.
Right.
However, we have to realize that they're not thinking the way that we thinking, and
They're
we
not
have
robots.
they're not, and we have to
Okay.
give them the opportunity to process what we're actually asking them to do. And
Mm-hmm.
once you give them that opportunity to do that, because you can determine the difference in, oh, this child is just straight out being defiant. They are not listening to me.
Okay. That's where we different now, because and I get what you're saying, because you are a parent and you said, it didn't work for you. But what if you're doing it and you've changed different, ways, but could it be the child too?
Right. Like, for example, she's not a parent. So let me jump in and give my example too. No, seriously though. But like, for example, I have 3 boys. My 2 oldest boys are much different from my youngest. So with my youngest, he got in trouble more so, but he didn't get in trouble like he did. I ain't gonna lie, he did. He got in trouble. Excuse me. But like with him, I had to discipline him, but I had to discipline him. Like I can just say something verbally to my oldest 2. Done. To the last one, I couldn't just say something verbally. No. And he can hear. So I get it when you say, oh, you got to get them time to process it. But my thing is, okay, well, how long are you suggesting that time be? Because, like, I can say, sit down. I'm talking going on. You ain't sat down yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it became, and I do agree, with you when you're saying each child, you do have to discipline,
Parent different.
The right way, because all of them are different. They have
Right.
different personalities, different attitudes. And I do agree with that. You can't do the same thing. But sometimes that can cause, when you have more than one child, sometimes that also can cause an issue within the kids, because they're looking at it as you're giving this particular child more attention. But it's not that you're giving them more attention. You just have to lay them out more, because, I don't know. Like with my youngest, it was totally different. So
Okay.
yes, I did beat him. I did the beating.
You did what?
The beating. Like that didn't really work, because he'll holler hoop. You would think somebody was in there. I was about ready to call 911. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody can kill him. But right after, it's like, oh, okay. He right back. I did the so my aunt used to be like, oh, just put him in the corner, da da da. Put him in the corner. What is putting him in the corner gonna do? Because after a while, next thing you know, he's sitting. He didn't slid the chair on over there to the corner with him. So he's sitting down.
How long did you put him in the corner when you did that?
Well, I don't remember. It was like different times. Sometimes I forget. No, sometimes I'll forget that he's standing in the corner, because, and the reason why, because
he was tired.
He's supposed to be standing in the corner, but he's doing everything else. So the more he did other stuff, the longer I would let him sit there. He over there playing, he talking. Bring me that.
So let's talk about the corner, okay?
Mhm.
So with the corner, with sitting children in the corner or timeout is based upon the age of the child.
Mhm.
So say if you put in a 2-year-old in timeout, the 2-year-old should only be in timeout for 2 minutes, no longer, no less. If the child get out of timeout, you take the child, you put the child back in timeout, and the 2 minutes starts over. And that's the consistency
no.
that
But
has to happen. The child will get tired of doing
Yes.
that, but you have to be consistent. You
but
cannot allow the child to overpower you because
oh
you are
yeah,
the parent.
because I felt like I was in timeout. I got tired. So that didn't last long enough. I told mine, no, that don't work because I'm in timeout because now I got to sit and watch him make sure he's staying in timeout the time
But
he's supposed to. So
that's the
now I'm in timeout.
but
So I might as well slide a chair up next to him.
and that's the part of parenting though, because that's the part of timeout though that a lot of parents miss. They
Yeah.
put the child in timeout and then they expect the child to sit there. That isn't timeout. That's me. I'm gonna leave you right here in this corner and you
Mhm.
have to stay here. Once again, that comes to, you can't expect the child to think like an adult. You
Mhm.
have to put the child in timeout and explain to the child why you have them
Mhm.
there. Say the child was kicking. I put you in timeout because you were kicking. You have 2 minutes to sit here. When your 2 minutes is up, I'm gonna come and get you out of timeout. Okay.
Right.
You go to the child when the 2 minutes is up. You
Yeah.
set a timer or whatever the case may have you.
Mhm.
My 6-year-old, when she gets in trouble, I do sometimes put her in timeout. My 9, 10, my 9, 12, and 13-year-old, they do not get times out. My
Right.
6-year-old does. She sets her own timer for timeout because we have Alexas. We have an Alexa. She
Mhm.
set her timer. I let her know why she's in timeout. She
Mhm.
set her 6-minute timer.
Oh, ain't that
And
something?
then
Hold on now. So are you
So she
saying
she calculating that long. I'm gonna be
right?
in this time
So
out for 2 minutes now. Lexa, 2 minutes,
yeah,
time out.
she sets her timer. When she goes to timeout, she sit down by the little in her spot because you
Mhm.
only have one spot for your
Okay.
timeout. She sets her timer. Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes. She sit there, and when her 6 minutes is up, then she comes to me. I give her a hug. I let her know why she's in timeout, and I ask
okay.
her, "What is it that you can do the next time so this does not
Okay.
happen again?"
Mhm.
And the more that happens, the more that she understands that I don't want to sit here for 6 minutes. I
So
do not want to be away
okay,
from
so
everybody
let me
else.
ask you this: when she do her 6 minutes, right? So let's say today she did something, you gave her 6 minutes.
Mhm.
So let's say next week she do something else. Do you add on to that 6 minutes, or is it still
No,
the same 6 minutes?
it's the age. You put your child in timeout by the
See, to me, by
age,
that time it ain't working,
and you
boo.
Yeah, I've been.
I'd be like,
well, see,
give me that
when
belt.
you don't always have to put your child in timeout for the things that they do. It just all depends because the way that I discipline
Mm-hmm.
my children and that I recommend most parents
Mm-hmm.
discipline their children is by what it is that they do. You
Okay.
discipline your child based upon what
So give me some
the thing
examples for
is that they do.
timeout. An example of a
Um,
bad behavior.
for timeout, say if I've asked my daughter to
Mm.
quit doing something several times, then yeah, you need a
Okay.
timeout from doing whatever it is that you're
Okay.
doing. If you're running through the house and I ask you to use your walking feet, because a lot of things I don't ask my kids to stop doing certain things. I ask them in a positive way. If my daughter's running through the house, please use your walking feet.
Mm.
If she's standing on a chair, feet on the floor, not
Mhm.
get down off the chair, not stop walking through the house. Feet on the floor, feet on the floor, please. If she's running through the house, use your walking feet, please. If she's
Oh.
yelling, use your inside voice. I don't say stop because all of those things are negative approaches. So I try to
Oh gosh.
positively
Oh,
give
okay.
positive approaches to them because when you give out negative things, you get negative back. So
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
I agree
how
with that.
I choose to do those things,
But you
and
know what that
that's what
also
works.
let me know too? That also let me know that your child really is a well behaved child. Your child is nothing like what my son used to be.
Or
You
or
know,
like she said,
because you
like
can do that.
she had to try something different. Meaning,
Yes,
early on
I
she
did.
tried whatever way and it didn't work, so
Mhm.
she had to readjust. And there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with readjusting. And I guess you readjust until it works,
Right.
right? But I just, me personally, don't have the patience. So
Right.
I just would have been
Cause
like your inside
yeah,
feet and your
it sounds like she has a
school.
lot of
You
patience.
have you have
So
patience, so that's good.
Right. You
I
can
That's
tell.
do.
good.
I do have a lot of patience, but now
Mhm.
that I have been trying to gently parent my kids, they have been testing me. Like
They
They
have.
have.
they have been testing me.
So
So
how
what
do
you
Yeah,
mean?
how you deal with that? Yeah.
It's been hard. It's been hard. But I think that is going to help me with the parent coaching, because I
Right.
need the experience to help other parents. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Right.
I'm looking at it as this is what's going to help me gain more experience so I can give more clarity to my parents
Challenge. Yeah.
when they need it, because they have been testing me too.
Right. So that might be your test since you done started your business doing this.
Yes, my 6-year-old have been testing me. My 9-year-old, all 4 of them have
So-
been testing me.
So like when you tell your 6-year-old to go in the time out, not go in the corner, but
Yeah, I
time
don't put
out
her in the corner.
Yeah. Go to timeout. Go to timeout for 6 minutes. Like when you say she's testing you, is she not staying her whole 6 minutes, or is she having to say something back about it?
She will go to timeout. It's more so she when she goes to an aftercare.
Okay.
And I promise you, ever since I've been pursuing to be a parent coach, my 6-year-old has been running these people crazy at the aftercare.
I know they're like, come on now, call the mom up here because we're gonna coach her right quick.
Right,
This
right.
6-year-old.
And it's like, and I've been telling her that,
I mean, you're going against mommy business right now.
that's what I said. Do you not understand what it is that I'm trying to do? And you are, I mean, she has been acting crazy, and they know, what I'm trying to do, and they do know what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So
it's your test.
and they definitely, and right, and that's all I have to keep saying to myself, because my mom and all of them was like, girl, my mom and them was like, I know what you're trying to do. She was like, I would have been whooped her tail by now. Like my mom and them just, they not for it. My mom, she's like, one night my mama told her, because she was in there going off, and my daughter screamed at me. And so like I'm getting down, I'm talking to her. My mom was like, "Oh no, you come here."
Yeah,
My mama yoked her up.
Yeah. So how were you raised though, as far as being disciplined? How were you disciplined?
I didn't get whoopings that much, but I did. My grandma used to turn me up. She needed to.
Right.
But I wasn't like my kids. My kids, I can say sometimes my kids are still very hard-headed, but I know that my children have been rebelling against me, because like we talked about earlier, I'm going through a separation from their dad. Well, I'm divorced from their dad.
Right.
Okay.
So my children are dealing with that. And those experiences play a role.
Yes.
It plays a major role in the way that my children are acting now. So now I am learning to parent them through that as well.
Right. Okay. So your kids are basically being rebellious because of things that they went through and witnessed. So that's why they are going through the change that they're going through.
They're going through a lot of changes. They're going through. We've been living with as mom and dad together all this time. Now we moved, and now it's just us, and we're trying to figure this out. And now you're changing your style of parenting. Why are you doing this? And so they're just trying to figure everything out.
Okay, let me ask you this now. What would you say to a parent that said they try to flush one of their kids down the toilet?
What?
You try to. Oh, her kids was younger because they're grown now. She tried to flush them down the toilet. That was her way of discipline. Like, what would you say if you had her and she was one of your
clients?
Yeah, one of your clients.
And she tried to flush her child down the toilet?
Yes.
Was this a child that just came out of her? Like,
no, it was no.
So
no.
how she?
I guess because the child was being them and probably being disruptive or whatever. So I don't know what the particulars were, but I'm just making up.
I would say that she needs to seek some other type of help. That's therapy type help.
That's the counseling that you're
that's the counseling, because if you're trying to flush, first off, the toilet isn't big enough.
Right.
To flush your child.
So basically, she probably had the child face in the toilet.
So that child has to be removed from the home.
I get you. But they may be with the old school parenting, because maybe the child was supposed to be cleaning the toilet or something, and maybe something I don't know what could have happened.
Okay.
But you would tell
So
her.
if it was as far as the child not doing chores, like
Right. Yeah.
okay,
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
okay, yeah, let's say that. So if a parent has a chore, a set chore for a child, and they aren't doing their chores, then that's when you can, number one, that's funny. That threw me. You can, number one, you can add more chores on
Right.
to that, or then that's when, if there are things that your child likes, that's when you start taking
Start
things
taking
away.
away. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I know some people like to take things away from their kids
Mhm.
for a long time. I do not. I don't take things
How
away from a
long
long
you?
time.
How long is too long for you?
It
According to
depends
the
on what
age.
it is.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't. It doesn't go by the age with that. And a lot of the things that I am implementing, I can say I've been implementing for probably the past year.
Okay.
My son, one time I took his game away, probably y'all for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it just gave him the opportunity to forget about it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I forgot about the game. I don't care about the game
Yeah.
anymore. You took it. You took it for too
Right.
long. Even if you take something away from it, depending on the child, even if you take it for 2 weeks, it's too long
They forget
because
about
you
it.
give them opportunity to forget about it. So now with my children, when I take stuff away from them, depending on the severity of it, it may be for 24 hours.
That's the longest.
No, the longest would be a weekend
Okay.
because we do not, with my children, Monday through Thursday,
Mhm.
we do not do games or phones in a way.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
they
you got
only
some
get
type of
their,
structure.
yes,
Right.
So you got that plan. It's planned all the way out
right.
for
Right.
y'all.
So Monday through Thursday, no games, no phones. I just started with my older two to separate them from my younger two because with my children, I always been y'all, y'all, y'all. It's always been a group
Mm-hmm.
with
Mhm.
them. So I want to individualize each child. So my older two, I now allow them before their bedtime to be able to watch a little bit of TV, watch a little bit of Netflix. I don't even do the YouTube because
Too much going
it's
on.
too much on
Yeah.
YouTube for them. So I do not allow the YouTube. But I do allow my older two to be able to catch a movie on Netflix before they go to bed. But on the weekends they are able to get their phones and they are able to play the game. If they get in trouble or something like that and it's severe, then okay, Friday, your phone is taken. You can't
Okay.
get your phone on Friday. They do something else, okay? You can't get your phone on Saturday. And that gives me the ability to be able to, if something else happened, what else would I be able to take away from them if
Right.
they get in trouble again? If I
Mm-hmm.
take your game for the whole weekend, that I
Mhm.
can't take anything else away from you. So if I take everything at once, then what other disciplinary action would I be able to
Okay.
take?
So
So
I get it. I think I get what you're saying. That's just like when like far as being written up at work. It's
Mhm.
progression.
Right,
Just automatically
Mhm.
just terminate nobody. You gotta
right,
give
Right.
them a verbal warning, a written
right,
warning, and then days or whatever, whatever.
right.
So I get all that. But do you the same parenting that you do to your kids, you do that with the parent coaching and with the parents too? You encourage them to take something from them. No video games, no.
Now I always let my parents know if they want my advice as far excuse me,
Mhm.
if they want my advice on how I do certain things or my techniques, then I offer it. But I always ask the question, what do you think you should do? How do you want to handle this? And
Mm-hmm.
if
Oh,
they
okay.
give me what how they handle it, then we
Okay.
try it. And then they come back to the next session and tell me how it works. And if it works for them, then we continue on with that. And it's always homework after each session. It's always a win that, whatever we discuss in the
Mm-hmm.
session, if they have a win or goals that they have set for that session, we always come back and we celebrate those wins for in the upcoming session that
Okay.
we
And
have.
So basically, let me say this right quick. So basically, what you do is you give them the opportunity to tell you how they would like for things to go,
Right,
whether it's going that way for them or not. Long
right,
as they're coming up with some type of plan that might work
right,
for them.
right,
So you're saying like the 6 minutes or the 1 minute for their age, per year of age, might not work for them. They might say, "Oh no, my child isn't going to do that. My 6 year old, no, I'm gonna need to get them 10." So then you try to tell them how to incorporate that 10 minutes versus the 1 minute for age. Or are you really stuck and firm with the 1 minute per
So
year of age?
I'm definitely firm with the year and age because that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. However, if the parent feel like that doesn't work for me,
Mm-hmm.
then definitely try it your
Your
way.
way.
You try it your way. However, if you want my advice, then I'm gonna give you what I've
Yeah.
learned and what I've been taught. I'm gonna give you the techniques that I have been taught because I've known them to work for me. They've been proven to work for me. Um, but if you feel like they're not working for you, then I'm gonna give you the next step
Right.
to what I've known to work because timeouts may not work for every
Right.
single child.
Right.
They may
I just
not.
told you it didn't work for
Yeah,
mine.
it may not work for every single child, and then that's when you move to the next step. Some kids you just can only talk to. My 9 year old, I can tell her, I go get on your bed with a book, and she's fine. She does not like to be separated from the group. So when you
Oh, okay.
separate her from the group, she doesn't like that. Versus my
Oh, okay.
13-year-old, you take his phone away for the weekend, he doesn't like that. And
Right.
then my 12-year-old, you just tell her you can't play Roblox. She doesn't like that. But my 6-year-old, oh, you get this time out. She doesn't like that. So you
Right.
have to know your
No.
child.
Your
You have
Mhm.
to
child, yeah.
individually know your
Right.
child. And a lot of parents that I've been coaching recently have the issue of spending time with their children. That's everyone's number one thing. Spending time with their kids.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Which is few and far between now. A
say that
lot
one
of
more
Right.
which
time.
is few and far between. Like a
Right.
lot of parents spending time with their
They
kids
don't do
Mhm.
that.
because they have their phones, they have
Mhm.
these games.
Mhm.
So you're
Mhm.
actually putting them in a uncomfortable situation. Some of them,
Right.
What you
Right.
mean uncomfortable
like some
situation?
of them, don't know how to spend
Spend
time
time
with
with the
their
Oh,
kids.
with the
kids
kids.
because
Mhm.
of all this technology. You have kids coming out the womb now, and they have these tablets.
Tablets. They
Yeah, but
do.
the kids, but a lot of the parents are giving the kids all this technology because that freed them up too to
Right.
do
Yes.
what they want to
Yes.
do because they busy on the
Mhm.
phone themselves or trying to
Mhm.
hang out with
True.
their girls or whatever. So that kind of freed them up too. So
It
now you
does.
doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and then when I need you to do what I need you to do. So
It's kind of dangerous.
yeah,
It is.
It's
It
dangerous.
yeah,
is.
It's very dangerous.
So, what are your feelings about? Someone said about taking the door off if they don't do right. I think that's
off the hinges.
perfect because I
Okay.
I posted that myself one
I
time.
did that. I did
You
it one
did?
time. I did it with
Mhm.
my son. And I was irritated that I did it because I couldn't get the door back on.
So you manage yourself.
I did it, but um after I did it that one time,
Mhm.
he knew not to close the door anymore. And the reason I did it is because he closed the door on me when I was talking to him one day. He
Okay.
closed the door. Um my children really they don't close their door that much. So I never really had a big issue with that. I do believe that kids deserve a little bit of privacy, but
Mhm.
however, now when it comes to technology,
Yeah,
you you
you really
you
can.
can't give them that much
That much,
privacy with
right?
technology
Well,
because they I've seen some things
mm-hmm.
and you just do not know even if you have a really close relationship with your child
Mhm.
when they are talking to their friends or they are on social media or they are messaging, you will find out that your child is a completely different person.
Right,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
They are a completely different person. My son is a completely different person. I'm sorry, son, if you watching, but you already know. He's a completely different person
Right.
when talking to his friends and I'm floored sometimes and I try to allow him to be that individual because he has to figure out, who he is.
Correct.
Um but you have to check your children's social media. That privacy you just can't give them because you don't know. Your child could be the bully.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Your child could be the one getting bullied and
Believe.
not telling you. Your child could be I don't know if it's too much, but child could be into some sexually explicit
Right,
things that you
Right.
just don't know about. It could be somebody pursuing your child. It
right.
is very so
Mm-hmm.
the technology is very dangerous. And that's
Mhm.
why one of the reasons why Monday through Thursday is very is I can't allow it. And on the weekends it's very monitored. All of my children have Apple devices and I control what they do. I have whatever it's called.
That parental thing on it, that
Yes,
control.
I have it. I don't
Okay.
know why I can't think of the name of it right now because they are screen time.
Okay.
I have
Oh,
screen
okay.
time. So whenever they want to do something on their phone, it comes to my phone first. It comes to me
Now,
first.
what is your take on that? If someone says that's a little, because you have some parents out there and people who co-parent or whatever they do with the kids. How do you feel when they say now that's a little too invasive? Because you're gonna help them that kind of everybody's on the fence about this or it's something else.
I feel that we all are different and we all parent different, and I definitely don't expect everyone to parent the way that I parent.
Correct.
However, we've seen how it all we've seen it. We see how it all happens. And it doesn't happen with all children. And if you have that trust level with your child, then that's fine. However, you don't have to be so invasive like me. I understand completely.
Right.
However, my children they're younger. First off, my 6-year-old, she has a phone. She doesn't care about it, the phone at all. She'll throw the phone. And versus my 13-year-old, he will not. But you have to set a boundary. You have to set some type of boundary with your children. So even those ones that when they get to a point that you will not have to be that invasive with your children. So, I wouldn't get upset because, someone be like, oh, that's too invasive. That's just the way that I choose to, handle my children.
Right.
Or whatnot. So I definitely wouldn't get into it, a back and forth thing with anyone about that.
So in reference to your coaching, now let's get back to your coaching. As far as now, you would let them know pretty much like how you do things if they ask, right? You'll let them know. But for the most part, you have the pre-screening per se. You have your screening. So therefore you have them tell you how they want their household to go. As long as they're not saying, hey, she can slide out her window at 9 if she wants to. And then
this
and the third.
That's what she wants, then she
But-
can tell the coach that.
Right. So long as they're not coming to you with something like ridiculous that like, look, have you ever had to tell a parent they said something crazy or they was doing something crazy when you had to say, look, let's be for real. You cannot do such and such versus.
So I had a parent that she told me exactly what she wanted to do, but then she went against what she wanted to do. She told me, yeah, I want my son to take the trash out at 5:00. We're just gonna say that. I want my son to take the trash out at 5:00, but I'm not gonna tell him to do it. I just want him to do it. And I'm not gonna tell him to do it. I just want him to do it. But every day she would come in the house and she would just walk past him and walk past the trash and not say anything. But then she would come back to me and she was like, well, today he didn't take the trash out. So I'm like, but did you say anything to him to do it? She was like, no, I just expect him to do it because he's a boy and he's in the house. And I'm like,
but did she teach him?
But then
are you teaching him the things to do?
Right.
So I would tell her, I was like, so are you ready to hear what I would do? Or do you want to continue to doing it your way? So she was like, okay, I'm ready to hear what you have to say. So I told her, I said, have a schedule, have a set chore chart. In my house, we have a chore chart. Everyone knows what they're expected to do. You have to let your child know what you expect for them to do. So if you want your child to do something, you have to let them know what it is that you expect for them to do.
Right.
If you want to let your child slide out the window at 9:00 at night, then I don't think that's something you need to come and tell me anyway.
Right, you got to show them how to properly
Right.
slide out the
Right.
window.
Right.
I honestly don't think that that's something that I've never dealt with. Nothing as extensive as that.
So what's the worst that you dealt with? Like, have you dealt with the parent that said that they be beating the crap out their kid and they want to stop? Like, what's the worst thing that you had to really jump in and get them orders?
I had to deal with was a parent. No parent has come to me and be like, oh my God, I just can't stop beating my child because I can't say everyone has whooped their child, but I'm sure I've spanked my children before. So I've let people know that like I spanked my children before. I just made the decision to stop doing it. And sometimes now I still tell my you better stop before I whoop your tail. And I know I'm not even gonna do it. It's just I'm so accustomed to saying it.
Right.
Because I used to say it for so long that I have to get my mindset out of actually saying it. But I think the worst situation that I've ever had was a parent just telling me that she calls her child a B all the time. She name calls her child all the time. She doesn't know how to stop.
What?
So
Don't know how to stop.
She
but that's what she may be accustomed to though.
Right.
She may have learned that, or maybe she talked to her friends like
that way, and she talks to her child like her child is her friend. So now her child is calling everybody else that, and her child is also calling her that. So now
how old is this child?
It's bothering her 10.
Oh no.
So now it's bothering her. And everything, first off, with the coaching business, and I want to say this: everything that we talk about is confidential. And I was also told her that if I did get asked a question like this, is it okay that I do discuss this as long as I do not do names?
Right.
So
we
I
don't know who
definitely
she
want
is
to
anyway.
throw that out there. So the child is 10, and the mom genuinely now wants to stop, but she just so accustomed to doing it, it just becomes of her. And now the child does it, and the child does it at school, and it's becoming an issue, at home and at school. However, is learned behavior.
Correct.
And it's learned behavior, and now they're both are doing it. And so once I finish the sessions with her, it's still happening, but it's a lot less often than it was at first. So she says we're gonna be doing more sessions because she definitely wants to stop.
But that's good.
But it's they have to put in the work too.
They do.
They have to put in the work too. You have to put in the work, and if you want to do it, you will. Right. I truly believe that if it's something that you want to do, you will put in the work to do it, and it is definitely a process, and it takes time to do it.
So how long are your sessions usually?
So I do one-on-one private coaching sessions. I have 3-month packages where you can do a package, but the sessions individually are an hour. Okay. I also do 30-minute sessions as well, but that's just a one-time session, like an emergency session. If a person needs an emergency session. I also have courses that will be coming out starting next month. I'm creating courses on how to communicate with your child, courses on how to discipline your child in a positive way, how to gently parent your child. So I have a lot of things that I am working on, and that'll be coming out. So if you do not want to take the expensive route and do parent coaching sessions, or if you do, because they're virtual, they're not. And I also do home visits as well, where I come into the home and I sit and watch.
So you do like a home study.
Sit and watch in your home, and just sit back and just watch you at whatever time you feel like you're struggling with. If a parent is struggling with bedtime, then I come around bedtime and I just sit and watch. I know it's hard to pretend that I'm not there, but I just sit and watch.
Because if they normally take something and throw it at the child, why they call her him or her or B or whatever, when you come, they're not going to do that now. So is it like a pop-up visit? Or do they know?
It's not a pop-up visit. However, it's a 2-week process. So after a while, when you're used to doing something and you become accustomed to what you're doing, so you start to get comfortable.
Seeing her,
You start to get comfortable, so you start doing what you usually do. So I definitely been into some homes where at first everybody being all cool, calm, and collect, and then everybody start becoming themselves. I'm
everybody
like,
start
okay,
saying, you know what, she in our house.
yeah,
So,
everybody start chilling and being themselves. But after the initial home visit, like I said, it's a 2-week process where I come into the home a few days out of the week, and just, sit and watch how the dynamics of the house, how everything flow at the certain times. And then after that, we come up with a plan to kind of like super nanny.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly what I was going to say.
Like super nanny.
But
that's exactly what it is, because there you go. But sometimes super nanny be looking like she about ready to yank one of them kids up herself, though.
Yeah, because
have you ever did that? Felt like you was ready to yank one of them up and say, "Sit your, sit down."
Every time I see kids, though, it's natural. When I see kids, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, I always feel the need to say something to them. If they're doing something, I do.
What about like when you in them stores?
Yeah, I
and
do.
You know, certain people in the stores, the kid be like, "You shut up and sit down," and then they be like, "Come on, Johnny, and sit down," and then they be like, "No, you shut up now." Like the other day, I was in the store.
I do that, and I be like, "Why you talking to your mom like that? It's okay."
And then they tell you shut up too.
They usually don't, though, because kids will listen to a stranger before
they
listen to their parent. They will listen to, and then they calm down. And like the other day at the bus stop, this little girl, she was crying. She was crying, coming to the bus stop. And I was like, "What's wrong? It's okay. You're going to have a good day. Say I'm happy." She was like, "I'm happy." And then she got on the bus, and her mom was like, "Girl, can you do that every morning?" And I was like,
"Really?" Yeah. But like I was at the store about 2 weeks ago. I mean, the little boy was on the floor. He was hollering. I mean, hollering. And I'm not gonna say nothing no matter child, but some of them I look at like this, like he was like this. Then next thing I know, he was looking at me like this. Because he was looking at me like, because he just stopped and got closer to his mom.
He probably wanted to say something. But what I have an issue with is with a lot of times the kids may not say anything, but the parent, they disrespecting their parent, and the parent automatically go in on you. So a little and say, "Well, he just acting out because I didn't get him what he wanted." Or I'm like, he done sit here and cuss you up and down in his line, throw everything out in his line,
car,
and now you telling me that he just upset. So okay, but then y'all gonna get in the car then and let him. You get in the back and let him get in the front.
My daughter has acted out at the store before too.
I think all kids have acted out at the store, but I think the difference. Like my son has acted out in the store before when he was younger. My boys are grown now; they have their own kids. But what I'm saying is, they have acted out in the store before. But I think sometimes there's a difference because you have some kids that actually almost beat their parent up in the store. So my thing is, if they're acting like that in the store around other people, man, I need to go be a fly on your wall because I know they turn you out the frame at home. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we're going to forget all about you standing, sitting in the corner, against the wall. We're going to forget about all of that. All of that going out the window. We're going to forget about trying to flush you down the toilet. We're forgetting about all of that.
But I'm going off. I can understand like everybody's point of view, and especially if you're a parent, and like they say all the time, it doesn't come with instructions,
right?
And even if it did, you're still going to do it your way, and out of a trial and error thing,
right.
But what would you say to a parent who is really struggling with the plans that y'all had all your little pre-sessions and everything, and you done did your parent planning and all of that, and they're still having a time?
Well, I would say to a parent that is still struggling, even after all of our sessions, I will first off ask them, are they implementing all the strategies that we have worked together to put in place? And if they are, then we have to revamp it because there's something there that isn't working. And we have to get down to figure out at what part isn't working.
What's the breakdown
at what point isn't working? Because some of it may be working, some of it, all of it, may not be working. So we would just have to revamp the entire thing. But it's basically parent led. So we would be going off of what the parent suggests that they feel like will work for them first. So, with any tips or advice or strategies that I have to give or put in place, like I said before, a lot of it is definitely proven to work. So we would just have to go back and see what, where we went wrong, what's not working, and then come up with a better action plan.
But what I also think too with that, because just listen to you how calm you are. I think one of the things that might not be working is maybe the parent isn't like you, is not as calm
and confident.
and confident like
Right.
you. And then also it has something to do with their mentality. So if their mentality is nah, 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 then that could be what's wrong. So if the kid is acting up, okay, you might can't get the kid, but what will you tell the parent so she can change herself or himself to try to see if the kid will adjust to the new them?
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
Like
gonna be
you.
the issue.
when when communicating with my children or any
Mhm.
child, the first we can't talk to each other. If we can't talk to each other, if we hollering and screaming at each other.
Right.
That's with any person. That's
Right.
with any relationship.
Mm.
With my children, first off, we have to have eye contact. If you are
Mhm.
not looking at me in my eyes, you're not talking to me. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I tell my kids. If you're not looking in my eyes, who are you talking to? That's just respect.
Mhm.
And if I'm looking at you and you looking at the tree, who you talking to the tree? And that's why I tell my kids, why are you talking to the tree? Because I'm right here.
Right.
So when we're talking and they're upset, the next thing you have to give me is a calm voice.
Mhm.
We need to talk with a calm voice. The
Mhm.
next thing, you know how kids,
Mhm. Mhm.
I need a calm body.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you
We need a calm voice. We need a calm body. You ready? Okay. Now look me in my eyes. Let's have this conversation. Are you ready? And then that's when we start talking, because there's no way that we can have a conversation and oh my God, we can't talk. How can we have a conversation if you're hollering, you're screaming, and you all over the place? We cannot conversate like that, and we cannot talk if you talking to the tree, because the tree, I'm right here, and that's how I begin my conversations with my children. And you can't walk away from me. Do not turn your back on me. So when there's a conflict in my house with my children, say my son does something to one of my daughters, they can't come to me like, Jaden hit me. You can't do that, because now you getting me all over the place, because they will do that. And then when you come to me all hollering and screaming, I'm automatically assuming that something is so wrong when you can really calm yourself. So it's always calm body, a calm voice, and just eye contact.
Oh, okay.
And so, and then when starting from a very small age, I always tell my kids, take a deep breath, smell the flowers, and blow out the candles. And that's how they calm.
I'm
They
gonna
keep
learn how to do
themselves.
that, and I'm not a child. Take a deep breath.
Take a
smell
deep
the
breath,
candles.
smell the
Let me
flowers,
smell the flowers. See,
and
I'm
blow
already
out the
wrong.
candles.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Take a deep breath, smell the flowers, and blow out the candles. Whenever my kids are having some type of fit or going off or any of that, you have to calm yourself. You cannot have a conversation with someone and you are all over the place. You have to
So
be
do you
calm.
allow them to have that time? Because I know, like, sometimes, it may be better to step away from a situation, not handle it then.
Yes, go get yourself under some type of control.
Okay.
Is what I
Just
say.
don't turn around and walk away from you.
Do not walk away from me. Let me know what's going on. You can't calm yourself down? Go get yourself under some type of control and let me know, and just come back, and then we can have a conversation. But I cannot talk to you when you panicking or you frantic, because that makes it jumps off onto me, and I tell them that all the time. It comes on to me, and then now we both going back and forth, and I do not accept that type of energy, and it goes back and forth on us, and that's how
and I
we used to
understand that.
operate.
Right.
So
I understand that, but let
it's
me ask you
hard.
this. This is one of my two last questions for you. I wanted to know, with the techniques and stuff that you have, do you think it'll work better far as the parenting? Because like, sometimes the kids, they be like, well, I used to beat him, I used to beat her, put in timeout, take stuff away from her, and she still went out there and she's, back and forth in the system, or have some behavior issues. Do you honestly think that the parenting that you do and the coaching that you do to the parents is more effective than that authoritative one, to keeping the kids out of prison?
So I would say that it is effective, but I really can't say how effective, because and the reason I say that is a lot of people say that I got beatings, I got whoopings, and I turned out good.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel deep down inside that they don't really understand what I turned out good means, because we all have dealt with something. We all have been through something that wasn't good. So we all are gonna make mistakes. We all are gonna go through something, and we're not perfect. So everybody's gonna make a mistake. The foundation of the way that I parent is to raise my children as respectful, responsible adults.
Right.
And that's what the type of parenting that I am implementing. Not more so that my child isn't gonna get in trouble, because people are gonna get in trouble. No one is perfect. You can have a person that got spanked, that got whooped, be in prison. You can have a person that was gently parented in prison.
Right.
So it's not more so of because I got whooped or because I didn't get whooped that I'm going to get in some type of trouble. It's more so of raising a respectful, responsible adult, and a person that knows how to put their feelings and put a word to their feelings and emotions on how they are acting out. Because a lot of children that do act out, they do not know how to address how they feel, and that's why they're showing the behaviors that they are showing. They're not being taught that, oh, I'm angry because of this. They're just being angry, and they do not know why, because their parents are not showing them that, oh, okay, this is why you're angry, this is why you're upset, let me put a name to this emotion that you're showing. And that's how I'm parenting my children, and that happens with communication. But a lot of parents feel like they do not need to tell their children what is going on because they are a child.
Right.
But in order for you to parent your children, you have to talk to them. You have to tell them, and you
started talking at them.
Right.
Now you said
Right.
something about telling them what's going on, like what within the house,
No, I mean not.
or just what's maybe going on with them,
You can
or their
tell.
emotions.
I'm with their emotions. I'm an open parent too when with my children, because they know what's going on in the house. Whether you try to keep it from them or not, they know. They know, because they will tell you and they will talk about it, whether you try to keep it from them or not. You can be a secret if you want to. They know. They know.
I don't know about that one.
They know. They
But
might
let
just
me
not
ask you
talk about
this.
it.
Because they will get mad and throw it in your face too.
Yeah.
Really? But I don't know about that, because I am one that didn't put whatever issues was going on, onto my kids. I am one that don't do that. But let's say you have a parent, like, what about, like, do you set the plan? Okay, after you initially meet with them, you do the pre-screening. And I know we have to get ready to wrap it up, so I don't want to hold you. But after you do your pre-screening, right? And it might not be them, it might be their child needs. Maybe the child has special needs, or maybe the child have physical needs, mental needs, something special that they don't know how to cope with themselves or to handle. Do you also help them address those needs on how to handle a child that has special needs?
So I can specialize in children with ADHD because my son is ADHD.
Okay.
So I do have experience with that. I have experience with younger children who has autism. Because I work with children who have had autism.
Okay.
The only thing that I can do with them is give them the techniques that I have learned to work with those type of children. But kind of sort of by law is they separate each other when it comes to coaching. I can't give out information that I'm not qualified to give. However, I can give out techniques that work with children as a whole.
Okay.
But if you have a special needs child that is showing something that's typically dealing with a developmental delay, then I can, coach a parent and what that looks like
Okay.
with that child.
Okay.
But
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, that sounds real good, but I'm still stuck on my way. But it really do sound good because you do have people out there though, honestly though. You have people out there that just don't really know how. And I see a lot with people be like, I don't know what to do with little Mikey no more. I just don't know what to do with them. So now they
Which-
know they can contact you
Right,
and
it's a lot
you
of
can help
resources out
them.
here.
You can help them, get them some techniques, get them some training or whatever. But you can pretty much help them on giving them ideas on how to do it based on your experience and based on what you do, even with your own 4 kids.
right.
And due to the fact you have 4 kids at 4 age levels, you can like help the younger one, the middle age, the teenage, the pre-teens or whatever,
Right.
so forth, so on. So that's good.
Right. And I also create schedules and meal plans and all that
All
type
of
of stuff,
that.
chore charts, all of that, all those type of
So
things.
now are your prices? I know you mentioned at the beginning you threw out in there in your intro about prices. And I feel you on that, girl. But in your prices, are your prices subject to what it is that they want you to do as far as meal plans, chore charting, or just a coach, or just to come sit in? Do you charge extra for them to come, for the sit in? Is that a fee?
So the coaching sessions has its own set price.
Okay.
And then of course, like to create a meal plan and all
Mhm.
that stuff, that has a own set, because one parent might be like, okay, I'm struggling with just meal
So
planning.
it's a la carte.
So then so
Yeah.
we'll just sit down, we'll create a meal plan together. You let me know what it is that you need or whatever you want on your meal plan. I type it up, fix it however you want it, send it to you. And then that's that. I create chore charts. Send me your kids' names, send whatever it is that you want that your child to do, or I give you a template of a chore chart or age appropriate chores and just send it to you, and then you can fill it out. However.
You said age appropriate chores.
Yes.
What chore would have an age appropriation to it?
All chores
Because
have.
you 5 years old, you should know how to take out trash anyway.
Yeah,
You
a
should.
5-year-old can definitely take out the trash, and
Mhm.
a 3-year-old can help you fold bath cloths and
Right.
stuff like
Mhm,
that.
yeah.
So that's what I mean by age
Oh, okay.
appropriate
I already said,
chores.
unless
Yeah.
you 1 and under, you might,
Yeah,
not have
you
no
can
chore.
start them
2 and up, or you
very
got a chore.
early. You can start children very early with chores, but yeah,
Okay, well that's
very
good.
early.
Well, that's good to know, and
It's-
I think that's very helpful to some.
It is. It'll definitely be helpful to some people, and
Mhm.
like I said, I do believe it's a job, and it's definitely on a training job, and it's a job even when we get older.
Mhm.
Because I know my grandma told me years ago, the worration really comes in when
When
you
your
get
child
older.
get grown.
When you get older,
Yeah, I've even coached the older person whose children have left the home, and coached her on how to cope with her children leaving the home.
Oh wow!
And so yeah,
Wow.
that was very interesting.
I'm
That was
sure
different.
because I would have been like empty nesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was different. It
Yeah,
was different.
that's
Yep.
that you actually bought some good stuff
Yeah.
on this platform tonight. But before we go, I wanted to ask you, how has your time been here on Wait Again Minute podcast?
It was amazing. I enjoyed myself. You guys make me feel very comfortable. As soon as I walked through the door, I felt very comfortable. It smelled real good in here. Because they were eating food.
Oh, that's why you a vegan.
Yes, I'm vegan for 20 days, but yeah, it smelled real good in here.
Well, that's absolutely great that you had a good time and you felt welcome, even though we disagreed on some things, and that's cool.
It's definitely
It's
okay
cool
to
to disagree on some things, and and hopefully somebody be able to take a little bit of what you taught them tonight, and as well as if they are in the need, they can actually reach out to you. Yeah.
So how can they reach out to you?
I have my website will be launched on Thursday.
Okay. So they can just reach out to us, and then you
Yes.
just let us know your website.
I do have a booking site.
Okay.
It's Parenting Life with Chanda. It's on my I have a page called Life with Chanda. I also have a parenting group called Suffolk Parents. To those who are not already in it, it's called Suffolk Parents. # Suffolk Parents. So you definitely can see the information in there as well.
And now,
Okay.
what if somebody isn't in the state? Like, are you able to
Yes.
work with them?
Yes. Yep. You can go into the Suffolk Parent. I started the Suffolk Parents in 2018 because it was
Okay.
literally just, for parents in Suffolk, but it has grown past that.
Okay.
But I also have a page called Life with Chanda, and you can actually schedule sessions on that
Okay.
page,
Gotcha.
on the Life with Chanda page.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Miss Go Getter, what did you take away from tonight?
Oh, I thought I already summed that up a little bit ago. I called myself summing that up, so I was trying to beat you to the punch.
Oh, well, I missed that boat.
You did, clearly.
But let's keep.
What about coaching old folks like her?
She already said she did it one time.
No, that was because they were trying to become an empty nester. You not trying to become an empty nester. You just need coaching.
Well, I take it like this: there's no need for coaching when you're still going to have the slow people around you.
What?
So I gotta get away from
Oh gosh.
what I know.
Anyway, so again, what I took away from this, one, I think it starts with the parent.
Yes.
And that kind of go the direction of the child, especially if you're trying to, wheel back the child because you feel the child is getting a little bit out of your control. But two, I also think it has something to do with like your calmness. Cause just sitting here listening to you, you was about to put me to sleep. Like you was telling me a bedtime story. Like, oh my gosh, if you talking to your kids that calm, I would be like, okay, mom. Like, yeah, but it's like whatever you did to change, did you get coaching?
Yes.
You did? You
Yes.
got coaching yourself?
Yes.
Okay, see?
In order to coach, I definitely had to get coached.
Oh, see, that's good to
Yes.
know though.
Yes, I had to.
Because you are so calm. It's like, oh my gosh. Ain't no way. Like,
Look,
I don't know.
Johnny,
But
what you said? You said take a deep breath, smell the flowers,
flowers and blow out the candles. And I'm here going like this.
See,
Like,
she's not listening. She's trying to sniff and blow out the candles at the same time.
well, I was taking a deep breath. I was trying to take a deep breath and smell at the same time, then blow. But anyway, I took away a lot, the difference because, the way it was then. And I realized time has changed now. But at the same time, I do think that, some of the stuff you do have to like learn the kid. Like you said, a lot of the stuff you do have to learn that kid because a lot of it don't work. But that parent had to know themselves as well as know their kid. Like some of the stuff you saying, me telling my son then to take a deep breath and smell a rose and blow it out. It would not have worked. He'll be still running around somewhere, and I'm trying to run behind him to tell him, "Hey, take a deep breath." He'll been passed out from running and holding his breath. It wouldn't work, you know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot, and I hope a lot of people did learn a lot because I think you make a great coach. Because when you had me over here going, yeah, I did. What did you take away, Gail?
Parenting is hard.
Yeah,
and my hat goes off to y'all. That's one thing I took away.
It's definitely
Yeah,
one of the toughest
it is.
jobs ever.
It definitely should be a calling, though. I think people just
being fruitful, and it's not a calling
Mhm,
for them.
mhm.
That might be true too.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, my hat just goes off to y'all, and just keep doing what you're doing, and stay encouraged. And I'm sure somebody's gonna get something out of tonight, or when they see it tomorrow, or whenever they see it. It's gonna be at it's gonna be at the right time. It's gonna be at the right time.
It is.
So with that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. We have been holding you over an hour and 18 minutes. So it's definitely time to let you go
2
home
hours
and parent.
because she was here early.
Oh, she was. See, that's part of the planning.
That's part
See,
of
that's
I
that's
went
all.
my
structured.
kids up and I took them home. Oh, they're at home watching.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
they,
hey kids.
Yeah, they're at home.
What is?
Oh, so they get to use their phone or the TV or whatever tonight?
I told them they could cut it on YouTube and watch it tonight. So they at home. They already ate dinner. They already took their baths.
They probably
They
on something else.
they looking at something else. honey.
Y'all better not be.
They looking at something else. They don't hear you say that because they ain't looking at this. They looking at something else on YouTube.
Better not be. No.
Go ahead
So
on to flip over to that show, that other show.
We're gonna end it with our theme song, and like I said, we look forward to much success and cheering you on for the sidelines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I definitely won't be needing your services. But if I know of anybody, I'm definitely going to recommend you.
Right. Thank
Without a
you.
shadow of a doubt. Let's go. Listen up, everybody. Have you heard the news?
We got a brand new show that's
Breaking all the rules.
Started out from VA,
And now we on the move.
from local to
Global, 'cause we got something to prove. We came from the bottom, now we at the tippy top.
to hold it down for our
People, cause we all we got.
This is cold,
Cold world, but we keeping it hot.
What else with you
On the line, ain't no time to stop.
all work over here,
Still we having fun.
we say it like it is.
Ain't no holding our tongue. Go get us on the team, yeah, we getting it done. And shout out to Travell, yeah, you number one.
It started with a dream that
Turned
turned
into
into
a vision.
The educated new generations
Is our mission.
Ears to the streets,
So we steady politicking.
If you ain't about to change, mind your business.
wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top six like we all up on the gram with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now
Wait again, minute.
Wave your hands with it. We top six like we all up on the gram with it.
Good night.
Good night.